See. Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. Today's live stream we're going to talk about Bitcoin and crypto. How we're getting a little bit of a recovery from the scare that we had the last couple of days. Some people might have called it a little bit of market manipulation, but you know, here we are today with Bitcoin currently trading at $103,500 right now, up a couple of grand. Finally good to finally see some green, because we've seen a couple of red days and some brutal red days here with Bitcoin going down, 3.5% on Monday, and another 4%, almost 5% on Tuesday here, and clearly losing this 200-day moving average. Now, I'm not going to say that we're safe and out of the water yet. I want to see Bitcoin get back up to that 200-day moving average at $110,000 now is where we have to get up to in order for me to feel like we're a little bit better with Bitcoin. Right now, I'm still gonna have a bearish bias as long as we're below this 200-day moving average. Okay, get back up to 110K, and then then I think a lot of people will feel better about being in crypto, and the altcoin should get a little bit of recovery. But even then, at the 200-day moving average, I would still be cautiously optimistic on Bitcoin, because we could just end up coming back up to the 200-day moving average, reject it, and then come back down again, and then that's how we know for damn sure that we're in a bear market. Because if we come up to that 200-day moving average and we can't hold it, then yeah, for damn sure we are actually in a bear market at that point on Bitcoin. And crypto, we know altcoins have felt like they've been in a bear market because most of them have been below their 200-day moving average longer than what Bitcoin did. Bitcoin just did it recently, like the last couple of days. I mean, it threatened to do it back here in October 17th, and we were able to get a little bit above it. And even then, this was like the cautious optimistic zone here, where I was cautiously optimistic about Bitcoin, but still I knew we were playing with danger. And of course we played with danger the last couple of days here, and we all know how we felt yesterday and the day before that, right, on Monday, and it wasn't so good. This is kind of weak sauce here from Bitcoin. Okay, we want Bitcoin to get back up to 110k and actually get above the 50-day moving average, which is sitting at 113,700. That would make me feel a lot more better about being bullish on Bitcoin. But right now, I can't be bullish on Bitcoin. I have to still be bearish, but you know, this could be the beginning of a recovery here. What I really want to see is the V-shaped recovery. Okay, we kind of had a little bit of a V-shaped recovery a couple of weeks ago, and I was feeling okay about that, you know, better than just going sideways. I do not want to see us go sideways from here, because if we go sideways here, that ends up turning into like a bear flag for some of you guys who know what a bear flag looks like. But if Bitcoin starts doing this, where we go flat around 103k, 101k here, and we start creating like a possible bear flag here, that's not going to be good, because the bears will identify that and they're going to attack the price of Bitcoin to take it down further. So, you know, this is just a possibility here. If we just go flat from here, flat is not good enough. We need to go do a V-shaped recovery. We need to do something where the price of Bitcoin starts going up like this, like a V, okay? Because if we can go up like a V, then that punishes anybody that sold at this area, and they're gonna have to make a choice. Either they're out of Bitcoin and crypto altogether if they sold all their crypto, or they have to buy back in at a higher price than what they sold, and then there might be some revenge buying that sends us up to 112, 115, back maybe even 120k if there's enough revenge buyers out there. And the same thing for the people who are planning on buying Bitcoin below 100k. They only got one opportunity. That was yesterday, where Bitcoin was at 98,800, and a little bit of it earlier last night when it was at 98,900, and then that was it. And now we're back at 103k all over again. Okay, so the people who are trying to buy Bitcoin below 90k, if we keep pushing the price up higher and do a V-shaped recovery back to 110k, they're gonna make, damn it, I missed out on my opportunity. And then they have to make a decision. Are you going to be totally out of Bitcoin, or are you going to get a little piece of the action at 103, 105, 110k here? So yeah, that's what I see with Bitcoin here. You know, this is good to see. I want to see a V-shaped recovery though. I want to get out of here and get out of here fast. I want to get back up to that 200-day moving average right away. I don't want to be, you know, messing around here, farting around here at 103k. We need to get away from 100k. We need to get up to like 110, 120k again. All right. I see some people on the TikTok live stream here talking about Bitcoin. Yep, we are talking about Bitcoin right now. I see Tariq is in the live chat. Good to see you, Tariq, as well. And then let's see. Lorene is also in the chat. Good to see you, Lorene, as well. And Ava Medina is in the YouTube chat here. Good to see you as well. And we got a few other people here. They haven't said hello yet. But you guys, if you guys have any requests, any cryptocurrencies you want me to take a look at, by all means, go ahead and let me know what cryptos you want to take a look at. But we'll go with some of the bigger cryptocurrencies here. I do want to take a look at Solana, because I actually bought a little bit of Solana myself last night while people were panicking. I actually dipped my toes in at $147 Solana. So let's see how Solana's doing. Solana's now at 161 bucks. So I think I kind of caught, like, I didn't catch the exact bottom, but I caught near the bottom yesterday when, you know, Solana was at $146, $147. And Solana has broke through a lot of my fib levels that I was looking at. Obviously, it's broken through the 200-day moving average, but there was a reason why I was interested in Solana at $145, because if I turn on the VRVP indicator here, and I just zoom out a little bit and gather up this data, there was a high volume node here on the VRVP indicator. So this is the VRVP indicator, this green and red stuff to the right, these green and red bars, and there was a lot of volume here at like 144, 145. I was feeling good about buying Solana at that area, because this is the same area that people were buying Solana back in June earlier this year. Solana was at like 147, 145 bucks here. So I figured that the people here in June would come and save us by not clicking the sell button, because they're still in profit right now. And at 145 bucks or 147 dollars, they're only at break even, so they're not going to click the sell button until the price goes below 140 bucks, and then they'll click the sell button. So I had a feeling that there was going to be a little bit of reaction at that area, just looking at the charts here for Solana using the VRVP indicator. And you wouldn't know that was going to be a magic number there unless you were using the VRVP indicator, because the Fibonacci wasn't really telling us anything about that level there. And the moving averages weren't really saying anything either. I mean, the only way you could tell is just by looking at previous price action. You're like, oh, okay, maybe the people here won't sell at 145 bucks. And then you could have just eyeballed it, just looking at the price action. And, you know, forget the moving averages, forget the VRVP, just a naked chart. You could just say, all right, the people here, this should be support for Solana between, you know, 130 and 150 bucks is a good area to buy Solana, and that's what I did. I bought some at $147 yesterday. Ava Medina wants to take a look at Fetch AI, HBAR, and Render. Thank you for giving us some direction here and some requests. It looks like I'll just put that as the first few requests for us to look at until I get some more requests. But yeah, I can definitely do that for you, Ava Medina. Fetch AI. I've heard Fetch AI was doing some good things over the last few days, so I'm a little bit curious to see what that looks like. You want to take a look at HBAR and then Render. I got you, bro. I got you. Let's Go Bear wants to take a look at Sui. Okay, we'll take a look at Sui. Maybe I'll fit that in between like Fetch AI and HBAR. Because Ava Medina, you put in a bunch of requests and I appreciate that. But yeah. I gotta make sure I'm able to do the requests for other people as well too. But we'll definitely get through your requests as well. Alright, so Solana at 160 bucks. Let me just finish up the analysis here on Solana. It's good to see Solana back at 160 bucks, okay? Push you above that 0.236 retracement level. I want to see if Solana can push itself back up to 175 bucks, which is the 0.382 retracement level. It was a level that we were trying to hold as support over the last couple of weeks. Could act as resistance as we try to climb back up to higher prices again for Solana. So we're looking for that level next for Solana, and we're just going to take it one level at a time here. Let's see, if I throw in the moving averages, is there any resistance? There looks like there'll be some resistance on the 200-day moving average. This red line here could act as resistance at 179 bucks. So I think 175, 179 is where Solana goes next if we're going to continue being bullish. If we're going to be bearish here on Solana, then I think we're going to have to try to see how we support ourselves here. If we can get down to $126, I think $126 is where Solana goes next if it's going to be bearish out there. I see Lauren A is in the chat. Good to see you, Lauren A, in the YouTube chat there. Appreciate you coming on board. Don't forget to hit the like button. And, yeah. Don't forget to share with your friends and family that Damien has some good TA here for you guys. And I'm doing it for free. Unless you guys want to tip me. Feel free to tip me if you want to. My TikTok guys, you can send me some gifts here, and of course you can always double tap your screen to send me a like as well. Let's look at Fetch AI now. Fetch AI. Fetch AI currently trading at 22 pennies here, up 4.4%. Oh, for some reason I thought Fetch AI was actually going up in price. Looks like it's been dropping. Okay, so was that the news for the last couple of days, couple of weeks here? Because Fetch AI has been acting like a typical altcoin, going through its bear market of 2025. And I feel like a lot of these altcoins have been going through a bear market because they haven't been able to get back above their 2-day moving average. As you can see with Fetch AI, this red line, we've just been, every time we get up to the red line, we get rejected. Red line, we got a little bit above it, then we went below it, a little bit above it. We were playing games here back in August for Fetch AI. And of course, now you lost it again here in September. And it's just been a bad October for Fetch AI. Fetch AI is basically at the same price that it was at back in October of 2023. Ouch. Literally 2 years. You're back to where you were 2 years ago. One big giant round trip for Fetch AI. Yikes. Okay. So Fetch AI just wasn't the one. It was the one back in like March of 2024. I remember seeing Fetch AI at like $3. And I myself got involved with Fetch AI, but then I got out of it once I realized like this thing, you know, once they started merging with that other company or other cryptocurrency, it got a little bit weird. And now they decided they don't want to be a part of that company anymore. But I think it's just, it's too late at this point. So anyways, what can we do with Fetch AI? Let me go ahead and turn the VRVP, see what we can do here. The VRVP is showing that Fetch AI is at the point of control, the highest volume node at 22 pennies here. You would expect to get some support, a lot of support at this area that you're at with Fetch AI. You also got a value area low at like 16, 17 pennies here. You would expect more support if we go below 20 cents. Fetch AI should get a reaction and try to bounce off of these prices here. And if it does, there's a little bit of resistance at 37 cents above you. Then there's a little bit of gap there, and then there should be some more resistance at 52 cents. Then you got a gap again, and then there should be more resistance at like 68 cents, which would put you right where that 200-day moving average has been acting like a bully all throughout the year now of 2025. I think 68, 63 cents, somewhere in that area, is a good take profit zone for Fetch AI at this point. And if you were to buy now and get into Fetch AI and try to get back up that 200-day moving average, you're basically going to triple your money if it does get up to that 200-day moving average. Fetch AI has a lawsuit going on with Ocean Protocol. Well, yep, there you go. There you go. They probably should have never merged in the first place. And now, yeah, now they're over here suing each other. So like, how does that help anybody? You know, when you guys are out here, you know, money's already tough as it is, and now you're losing money by going into a lawsuit with your partner, with the cryptocurrency that you're trying to partner with. I always thought that was interesting. I don't know if cryptocurrencies can actually merge together like that, and if they do, they need to actually be on solid footing and have a good use case here. Because look what happens. You know, this was a bad marriage between Fetch AI and Ocean Protocol. You know, now they're going through a divorce. Pretty much at this point. It's the best way to explain it. But anyways, let's move on from Fetch AI. We'll take a look at the SUI. SUI currently trading at $2.05 right now, up 3.9% today. And I think I want to do the VRVP indicator again for this one. Let's turn that bad boy back on. VRVP indicator showing that SUI does have a value area low at $1.84. Is that how low we got on to SUI? SUI came as low as, let's see, Tuesday. I'm looking for Tuesday. $1.83. Yeah, $1.83 on SUI. So you're getting a bounce off the value area low, this white line here. Next area of resistance could be $2.07, which is, we're kind of at that right now. Then you got some more resistance at like $2.26. Could act as a resistance area as people try to sell just to break even, like the people back here in April who bought SUI at $2.26. They might try to just, you know, break even and give up on SUI and move their money somewhere else. But then after you get past 226, there's a gap in the VRVP. Shows that SUI could get up to like 278, which was acting as support back here in October and acting as support back here in June. And then if you get past that level and get some more bids, then there is a point of control, that blue line sitting at 346, which puts you right above the 200-day moving average. Most of the moving averages on SUI are at like 325, 330. So if SUI can catch the bids, right, just getting back to that 200-day moving average will put you, that's like almost like a 50% gain. Let me go ahead and get rid of the VRVP now. And then, you know, we'll put that, let's see how much, if we just get back up to that 200-day moving average, that's about like a 63% gain on SUI. Just getting back up to $3.35 here. So, maybe that might be the play. If you're already in SUI like myself, you're just waiting for it to recover and get back up there and get half your money back at this point. But the fact that SUI is below the 200-day moving average, I have to be bearish on SUI as well. I mean, a lot of the cryptocurrencies are looking bearish right now until they get above their 200-day moving average. Grisel, thank you for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. And then Let's Go Bear, thank you for the like there. Thank you. Just keep double tapping that screen. We have about 1,300 likes here. Let's see if we can get up to like 2,000 likes in the meantime here. I think we could easily do that. Just double tap your screen and we'll get up to like a couple of thousand likes here. So yeah, we kind of just talked about the upside here. I didn't really talk about the downside. Downside, I mean, don't lose the level that you're at right here, but you know, let's see, the low was like $1.83 yesterday. Don't go lower than $1.83, but if you do, you could come and visit $1.71 like you did here in April. And then maybe that might be another area where you could buy some cheaper SUI if you're still bullish on this asset. Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. I want to see if SUI can actually do a V-shaped recovery and get out of here sooner rather than later. But you are making lower highs, and lower lows. You're kind of in like almost like a falling wedge here. If I was to draw this out. Okay, like that. This movement average is kind of getting in the way here. But yeah, you got, you know, lower highs here, as well as lower lows. And it's creating this falling wedge, which usually, falling wedges, when you see that, it usually breaks out to the upside. If it's going to be a violent V-shaped recovery, that'd be great, but sometimes you can just go sideways just to get out of here, and then still, you know, that's still breaking out to the upside. However, you know, if it goes sideways, that's kind of weak sauce, and if it does go sideways, I'd be more concerned that this thing will go sideways and then go down. So I want to see this thing violently, you know, punish anybody that sold below $2 here, and try, you know, basically, if the higher and faster we go, the more likely people are gonna like panic buy and try to, like, instead of panic sell, they're gonna panic buy to get back into SUI again. I might even buy some more SUI. I sold a little bit, literally at the level that we're at right now. But I might actually get back in again at this price. All right, let's move on from SUI. We gotta take a look at HBAR. And if you guys have any requests, I know we have some new people that just showed up. If you have any cryptocurrencies or stocks, I also do stocks as well. But if you have any cryptocurrencies you want to take a look at, I am taking requests here. Let's see, HBAR currently trading at 17.5 cents, up 3.76% today. And HBAR, you know, looking weak, just like all the other cryptocurrencies out there. We thought this could have been a bull flag last time I looked at it. And if it did, it was going to break out and go to the upside to like 40 pennies, but that didn't happen. So I can get rid of that now. And I'll get rid of this. This has played out to the downside, so it doesn't always end up being a bull flag that breaks out to the upside. Let's go ahead and turn the moving averages, see what the moving average is doing to HBAR. You are currently below your 200-day moving average, just like a lot of altcoins, including Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also below its 200-day moving average. To become bullish again, you got to get above that 200-day moving average, sitting at 20.5 cents here. Do that, and I can be bullish again on HBAR. Now, HBAR is looking like it's creating a range or a bottom here. Looks like we could have been double bottoming here at the 15.5 cents. It came down to like almost 15.5 cents yesterday, and then even today, well, we came down to 16 cents. So this could possibly be a double bottom. If this is going to be a double bottom, just using chart pattern analysis, you measure from the top in between the two bottoms. Okay, that's your measure move, and you just put that measure move on top of the top in between the two bottoms. If this is going to be a double bottom. And this gives us a measure move that we could see HBAR get up to like 26 cents here. 26 cents is an area that we were at back here in August. You know, I think it is possible for HBAR to get back up to 26 cents, but you got a lot of work to do here. But if HBAR is able to get up to 26 cents here, let's see how much of a percentage gain that would be from where we are right now. That'd be like almost like a 49% move up in price if HBAR can do that. But more likely, there will probably be some resistance when we get to the 200-day moving average, and that is only about a 17% gain from where you are right now. But still, you know, that's decent. You know, a lot of stock market guys would love to see their stock go up 17%. So here in cryptocurrency world, that's like, you know, just another Tuesday, right? Or we can easily do 17% here, I think, for H bar. All right. And then as far as like downside goes for H bar, don't lose 15.5 pennies. That was a good area to try to create a double bottom. If we do lose 15.5 pennies, I mean, we could try to revisit this other double bottom that we were creating here in June and April, where we saw, back here in June, we saw H bar as low as 12.5 cents. I already identified this with this red number here, this red bar. Pretty important area for H bar to stay above. So far, it has been above it. We had that one bad day in October 10th where we came below it and then shot right back up again above it. So 12.5 cents is an area that I'm looking out for if H bar is going to continue being bearish here. El Patron is asking about Coinbase. Are you asking me to take a look at Coinbase stock? Or you just want my thoughts about Coinbase, the crypto exchange? Like, what do you mean by Coinbase question mark? Can you elaborate? What do you want me to talk about? Oh, you want me to look at Coinbase stock? Okay, yep. All right, I'll fit that in. We'll look at Coinbase stock right now, and then we'll go back and circle back to talk about Render here. Because I know Ava Medina, that was like your third request, right? So we'll take a look at Render after Coinbase. I actually own Coinbase stock in my stock portfolio. So I'm curious to see how Coinbase is doing right now. Coinbase stock is currently trading at $316, up 3.09% today. I'm on the daily chart. And Coinbase stock is above its 2-day moving average, unlike Bitcoin and all these other cryptos here. However, if Bitcoin and crypto is doing badly, then that's going to drag down the stock, probably down to that 2-day moving average. That 2-day moving average sitting at 282. Happens to be where 0.236 retracement's at 286. If Coinbase continues this downtrend that it's in right now, I would expect to get some support at like 286, 283, somewhere in that area. Coinbase stock looks like it had the highs for the year back here in July when it got to like 444. Then of course we came down here towards the beginning of August, and then we tried to come back up. We made a lower high here at 402, which was right where that 786 retracement's at, before we got knocked back down again, and making lower high here again at the 373 level, which is where that 61865 golden pocket area is at. So these Fibonacci numbers are playing out very well, giving us an idea as like where the resistance levels might be here on the chart. If Coinbase starts catching bids here, I would expect it to at least revisit the 618 golden pocket again at 372, 365, somewhere in that area. And then I want to see if it can revisit that $400 psychological number, which is also a 786 retracement. So I think on the upside targets, you're looking for 370 and 400 on Coinbase. And then downside targets, you're looking for 286, 283 if Coinbase is going to continue going down in price here. You're welcome, El Patron. If you go ahead and double tap your screen, that shows me that you like my analysis here. Appreciate that. Let's see. You went 5x on Coinbase. Wow, that's crazy. How did you do that? Did you do like call options or something like that? Because I don't think I don't think you can leverage trade an individual stock. So I don't know how you're able to do a 5x long on Coinbase, but that's cool that you did. All right, moving on from Coinbase, we're gonna take a look at Render. I hope Bitcoin bottom out. I'm trying to make money here. I don't want to see crypto go down any further than what it did to, in the last couple of days here. You know, let's make that a correction before we go up to higher prices here for crypto. But right now we're looking at Render. Render's currently trading at $2.01. About the same area back here in July of 2023. So, you know, Render, you lost 2 years of price action here. You basically did a round trip to where you were back here 2 years ago. Yikes. And Render is still, you know, it topped out here in March of 2024. We saw like $11. Was it like a $12? Yeah, $12 Render. Lower high, another lower high. Of course, you're making lower lows to get to those lower highs. And Render, the 200-day moving average has been acting like a bully. Every time you get to the 200-day moving average, you're going to get rejected. So I'm expecting if Render does catch some bids here and climbs back up, that red line is going to be a good area to sell because it's been acting as resistance this whole time for like the past year and a half now, right? So right now that 200-day moving average is sitting at 369. That's where I would try to take profit on Render. But if you were to buy now and wait until you get to that 200-day moving average, that's about a 83% gain on Render if you can catch up there. But most recently, this 21 exponential moving average, this white line has been acting as a resistance, acting as a bully right now. And I would expect Render to, if it does get up to that 237 where that 21 EMA is sitting at, I would expect a little bit of resistance in this area for Render until it can prove that it can get above this 21 EMA. I mean, last time it was above it, you know, it was like right here in July, you got above it, okay? Yeah, you kind of got above it here in September, but then that 200-day moving average pushed you right back down again. So yeah, can Render get back up to 369 at this point? I don't know. Can it even get back up to 237? We shall see. Okay, but those are your resistance levels for now for Render: 237 and 369. Flight Clip is in the chat here. He says he believes in Render long term. You know, I actually had a little bit of Render myself, but you know, I also put in my stop losses, and I got stopped out. I think like back in like February or January earlier this year. After we lost like $6-7 Render, I was out. Yeah, I was out. Thank God, because look, we're at $2 here for Render. I think, you know, long term, you know, Render will do okay with artificial intelligence. It's just that right now, you know, Render's claim to fame is that it allows people to use other people's GPUs to do whatever they need to do with artificial intelligence. And right now, NVIDIA is just cranking out those chips and cranking out newer chips, and NVIDIA is producing enough chips. When the use case for Render was NVIDIA wasn't going to have enough chips out there, and people were going to have to start using other people's NVIDIA chips, and that's where Render would have stepped in to help facilitate that process. But I think there's enough chips out there, and Render is suffering because of that. Like, the use case for Render is just not there right now. I don't know, I could be wrong. But I think as more people get more comfortable in using AI, there'll be more of a use case for Render to come in and help out, pick up the slack that NVIDIA might not be able to fully complete. I do know there are some there is kind of like a supply bottleneck. Like, there is some companies that are trying to get involved in AI, and they're trying to create their own AI chips, but they can't because like the fabricators in Taiwan, they've all been booked up by NVIDIA themselves. So it's like you have to go to NVIDIA to try to, you know, you have to buy NVIDIA chips in order to get on board with the AI space here, because NVIDIA already bought up like the future supply of all the Taiwan semiconductor fabricators in Taiwan. So maybe people might decide to, you know, instead of paying NVIDIA, maybe they decide to use Render as a way to skirt around that. And maybe that's when Render starts getting a rise up in price here. Ava Medina says, "Thank you, Damien. Awesome TA and fundamentals. Did not know about the lawsuits with Fetch AI and Ocean. Yep, yeah. I knew there was something going on. And that's why it's good to come on to this live stream, because I don't know everything there is myself, but there are all the people here that are paying attention to the news for all these coins out there, and we can all share the news and share the ideas here and try to figure out what's really going on with these cryptos." Andy's in the chat saying, "What do I think about Algo?" I'll go ahead and take a look at Algo for you. Razaz is saying, "Now in Meta AI in the X42 ecosystem is born again." I don't know about Meta AI. I know about Meta Facebook, but are you talking about Facebook having a Meta AI? You're gonna have to clarify that for me. And you want to take a look at KSM. Tariq, I actually did talk about HBAR earlier today. We had a request for HBAR earlier. But let me go ahead and write down some requests here. We gotta look at KSM and Algo. And then we gotta look at LCX for Bill's fan here. KSM, Algo, and LCX. And I'll quickly go take a look at HBAR real quick, as do a little quick summary analysis. I'll give you the price targets that I looked at, and then we'll go look at these other coins here. So what I saw with HBAR really quick here, HBAR at 17.5 cents. I said don't lose what you did here yesterday at like 15.5 cents. Don't lose that level, or you could come down to 12.5 cents as a support level that acted as support earlier this year. And then on the upside, I want to see if HBAR can get up to that 200-day moving average at 20.5 cents. But if this is going to be a double bottom on HBAR, then the measured move from that double bottom, you would just put this measured move right over here, and it's saying that HBAR could get up to like 26 cents. Let me just double check that work here. Yeah. 26 cents is where that blue number right there is where HBAR could go if this ends up being a double bottom and it plays out fully to the upside here. Okay? Alright. Moving on from HBAR, we'll take a look at KSM. Kusama. I had a buddy of mine ask about Kusama last year in 2024, and he actually got into it, and he was trying to get me to get into it. Kusama is currently trading at $9.29, and let's just look at what Kusama's done. I mean, my buddy was talking about Kusama back in like February and March of last year, of course, because Kusama was trading at like 56, 60 bucks here. He even got as high as like, let's see, how high did you get here on Kusama? You got up to like $65. Okay, but since then you've been making lower highs. Even back here in November of last year, when we had the little bit of a altcoin season going on, Kusama got as high as like $53, and that was another lower high compared to what you did previously in 2024. So doing lower highs is just not going to cut it, and you saw that Kusama dropped down in price and lost the 200-day moving average here in February. Then that 200-day moving average was acting as resistance all throughout 2025, and Kusama's been in a bear market. If you'd have asked me what Kusama's done over the last year, you've been in a bear market, and it started in February 2025 when you lost that 200-day moving average. You came up to retest it, you lost it again, still in the bear market. Came up, tested it again here in August. You actually got above it a little bit, but only for like one day, and that really that's not helping anybody here. Going up above the 200-day moving average for like a day or two. And that 200-day moving average is still acting as resistance. So this thing is still in the bear market. Until you get above the 200-day moving average and use it as support and then launch up to higher prices, that 200-day moving average acting as resistance, and you're still in the bear market on Kusama. But if you do come back up, I would expect the 200-day moving average to act as resistance again, and that's sitting at $14.85 here. You got most of the moving averages above you around that area, between like $13.86 and $14.85. So between $13.80 and $14.80 is where I would take profit if I was still in Kusama, or trying to play a long here on Kusama. I would take profit at $14 for sure. Hola, Hulk Smash. Good to see you in the chat. Glad to see you, buddy. RD on TikTok is asking me, do I hold Litecoin? No, I do not have any Litecoin myself. I had Litecoin, I think, like back in 2017 when I was first got involved in crypto. There wasn't really that many altcoins to be buying on Coinbase at the time. And I think like Ethereum and Litecoin was like one of them. And I got into those back in 2017. And that was when I was actually involved in Litecoin. And then there was another exchange that I was using that had more coins like Cardano and Ripple. And that's when I bought my first Cardano and Ripple. Was back in 2017. But then I got out of them. Let's see. Thoughts on XRP? Okay, so I guess XRP is a request. We'll take a look at XRP after we look at LCX. Thank you for the requests here. I got some requests here, and I can show you my TikTok guys. Like these are, yeah, we gotta look at we're looking at KSM, and then we gotta look at Algo, LCX, and then XRP after that. All right, let's keep it moving. We're gonna look at Algorand. Algorand USD. What did I do? I messed that up. Too many S's. Alright, let's take a look at it on Coinbase. Alright, so we got Algorand currently trading at 16 cents, up 4.68% today. And I got like a lot of rainbow colors showing here. Let me go ahead and just hide this for now. Oh, yeah, we'll delete that. But yeah, we were in a descending triangle. Which could have been part of a bull flag, and I thought we could have probably played this out as a bull flag on Algorand, but obviously that did not play out. The descending triangle is a bearish pattern. However, you know, just because you came into it from the bottom here, I had a little bit of hope that it could have been a bull pennant instead of a descending triangle. However, it did play out as a descending triangle here, so I have to get rid of these lines here. So let me go ahead and fix that, and I will get rid of this. So we all know how that descending triangle played out. It played out to the downside. And I have a Fibonacci that I drew from like 15 cents. I think that was like low here back in June. Up to that swing high here at 34 cents. And I think this Fibonacci is still useful here. You basically did a round trip on Algorand. You're at the same prices that you were at back in here in June. And if Algorand is going to get bullish here, I would expect at least take some profit at the 0.236 retracement at 19 cents here. Looks like 1982, okay. I think 1982 was a good year. I wasn't born at that point, but I think I've heard 1982 was a good year. Anyways, 1982 is what you should be targeting for Algorand to the upside. And if it does that, right, from where you are right now to like almost 20 pennies here, that's about a 22% gain on Algorand. Okay, might be worth taking a shot on that one. And then you can put your stop loss below the Candlewick low here from yesterday or even Monday, and you're risking about 10% to try and get that 22%. That's like a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. Not the best. What would be better is if you try to hold on to Algorand and see if you can get up to that 200-day moving average, sitting at that red line there at 22 cents. And that's about a 35% gain from where you are right now on Algorand. And I think, you know, once you get to that 200-day moving average, we'll see how we handle ourselves when we get up to that 200-day moving average. But I would expect, you know, some resistance. You know, I would expect anybody that bought Algorand in the beginning of October to try to break even and sell at break even if they're not a believer in Algorand. As you are, I'm assuming, then they're probably gonna click the sell button when we get up to like that 200-day moving average and basically back to where they bought it at here in October. Okay, so I think 22 cents, anywhere between 20 to 22 cents is where you should be targeting for Algorand. Basically between here and here, yeah, to the upside. And as far as downside, I mean, do not go lower than what you did here in Algorand, because if you do go lower than what you did here yesterday, you got it as low as like 15.5 pennies here. There's not much support. There's nothing here till you come down to like 11 pennies. So I put those stop losses tight on Algorand. I probably put it like right below the Candlewick low here on Tuesday when you got as low as like 14.5 pennies, and not try to risk too much out of your capital here. Try to preserve some capital here. Alright, and then moving on from Algorand, we'll take a look at LCX, and then XRP's coming up after that. Alright, LCX currently trading just below 10 pennies, up 3.3% today. Looks like we have looked at this asset already. And I was kind of hoping to see if LCX was going to maintain this uptrend. And nope, it didn't. Over the last couple of days, you lost that uptrend. But could this be like a bearish fake out where we just get right back up to that uptrend again? And if LCX is able to continue to be bullish, we would want to see it get above those 2-day moving average. All the moving averages are bunched up together. I think anywhere between 12.5 pennies to 13 pennies should be your first take profit if you're day trading it or swing trading it. But if you're in it for the long term, I did measure this out in a previous live stream here. If we could just get back to the highs here in August, where we saw this thing get as high as like 18 pennies, roughly, that's about a 64% gain. I actually have to adjust that. Actually, it's a little bit more than that now. So let me just go ahead and adjust this. We'll put the stop loss right below the candlewick low from yesterday, and we're gonna measure this down to like where we are right now. So now you have like an 83% gain if you can get back up to like 17, 18 pennies here. And your stop loss, you could put that right below the candlewick low at 0.087 pennies, and you're only risking about 9.58% here. And your risk reward ratio is 8.68. That's a really good risk reward ratio. That's a good trade to take if you're going to be bullish on this asset. But if this thing decides to go down lower, I mean, you kind of like are at the lows for the year. I think the lowest low was like back here in June. When we got down to like 0.089 pennies here. But if you lose 0.089 pennies, then looks like you're going to come down probably to what you did here in October of last year. Halloween of last year at 0.078 pennies could be like the next downside target. But I really like this as a setup here for LCX. Because this could possibly be a double bottom. Right? You're basically at the same price that you were at back in June when the United States was dropping bombs on Iran for the first time in history, and there was a lot of fear in the market. We got fear in the market again. This is actually looking like a really good long trade, to be honest. But I would be day trading this and targeting that 2-day moving average sitting at 13 pennies. That's almost like a 30% gain. Let me just measure that out real quick here. From where we are right now to the 200-day moving average, it's about a 35% gain. Slap on some 10x leverage, that's a 350% gain. And with this thing having your stop loss at, down at the candlewick lows from yesterday, 10x leverage, yeah, you'll get liquidated with 10x leverage if you go down to that low of a price. You'll have 10x leverage will be at like a 95% loss if it does drop down to that price. But you could actually just day trade this and put the stop loss even tighter than that. You could just put it at the lows for today. The lows for today was at what, 9 pennies, 0.091 pennies. So you just put that right there. With 10x leverage, that's about a 50% stop loss. That's worth taking. I might actually get into LCX. I don't even know what LCX does. Does somebody know what LCX do? What's the use case? I might actually enter a day trade on that one after this live stream is over. Look, nice setup. If you can, this thing can cast some bids here. I'm a little curious. Before I start falling in love with this, with LCX, with this asset here, let me just look at the oscillators here. See if the oscillators are doing anything interesting here. Market cipher B on the daily time frame, you are in the oversold area. These green horizontal bars are kind of like the RSI, and you're in the oversold bar area. You did have a red dot here on Saturday. You're just waiting for a green dot. If you're waiting for confirmation that that money is flowing into this asset, when you see a green dot show up on Market Cipher B on the daily time frame, That's usually good. That usually lets you know that you're gonna have a few good days ahead of you, and that's all you need for day trading is like a few good days. Because usually as a day trader, you're just in it for the day. But if you're in it for a swing trade, which I would probably do this as a swing trade, like a short-term swing trade, that's all you really need is a green buy dot saying that the next few days are gonna be good. So I'm actually liking what I'm seeing on the chart so far. Yeah, you do have some selling pressure on the MACD. But if you see a pink candle show up, then you know that selling pressure is dying down, and that could also be a good. This could be the low for LCX if you start seeing that pink candle show up. Like right here, you see pink candle, pink candle, pink candle, and yeah, selling pressure was dying down, dying down. Surprisingly enough, you were going down in price even though you had buying pressure showing up here. But this could be just signifying that there's some bullish divergence here. And is there any bullish divergence on the RSI? Kind of looks like it to me, right? If I just measure, let me get this thing. Let me just zoom in on the chart here. But you can see that you have higher lows here on the RSI. Okay. So you got higher lows on the RSI, you got lower lows on the price. There could be possibly bullish divergence on the form here. It just means that buyers are stepping up to the plate and actually trying to get into LCX. Still an aggressive trade to take a long, okay? But maybe you can start a partial position, and then if this thing does a double bottom or a confirmation low, a higher low at some point, and then goes up to higher prices, then you know for damn sure that this thing's ready to go to higher prices here. So I like LCX as a potential long setup here. Let's move on from LCX. We'll take a look at XRP. XRP, what are you doing to me? XRP currently trading at $2.28 down. I'm sorry, not down. Up 3.6%. Looks like you're kind of getting like a tweezer bottom here on XRP. If I was to zoom into like maybe the 1 hour chart, it would probably show up as like oh wow, it's actually like right there. Let me go in the 4 hour chart. Yeah, it's still a tweezer bottom, but that's still good to see if it's a tweezer bottom. These candlewick lows here, these long candlewicks are showing that buyers actually stepped up and they're interested in buying XRP, near $2. I mean, we got as low as $2.06 here on XRP. And 210 here on Tuesday. Yeah. So buyers do like that price. And if XRP continues up to higher prices, then you expect to get to that 200 moving average on the 4 hour chart here at $2.56. Now let's get into the daily time frame, because the higher the time frame, the more credence all this information has. The 21 EMA could act as resistance at 244. And then the 200-day moving average could act as resistance at 262. So you want to see how XRP handles itself when it gets back up to that white line there, that 21 EMA. It might act as resistance initially before we shoot up to higher prices, and then we'll see how it handles itself at that 200-day moving average at 262. That could act as resistance before we're able to shoot up to higher prices here on XRP. But I'm a little bit disappointed that XRP was showing like an inverted head and shoulder pattern here. And it started playing out to the upside, and it was very lackluster performance. Yeah, you got above the 200-day, but I wanted to see this thing go up to the 50-day moving average, and it didn't quite do that before we, came back down lower than where the top of the head was here on that inverted head and shoulder pattern. So I don't know. XRP is still kind of in suspect territory until you get up to that 200-day moving average. I would not be bullish on XRP. So you get to the 262 here. But I know the XRP army is going to do whatever it wants to do, and you guys are going to defend. It looks like you guys are going to defend $2. $2 is the line in the sand for a lot of XRP holders here. Let's see, XRP, we got down to like 206. 206 was like where XRP was trading at back in June earlier this year. Yeah. But there is support. There is support at $2. That we know. We saw that yesterday. I guess we're all just waiting on Bitcoin to go to higher prices so we can see these altcoins go up to higher prices as well. Liberty in Trust is saying, unfortunate to say, but altcoins are done. They ended in 2020. Institutions are now in it. They only care about Bitcoin. That is all. Follow the money. Alts were a 2017. No, alts were kind of big back in 2021. Yeah, when Ethereum was hitting like $4,800, people were talking about it going to like $10,000 at the time. And Solana came out of nowhere in 2021 and shot up to like $260 for like the first time ever. I wouldn't really say altcoins are done. I would say altcoins are struggling because of interest rates. Interest rates had never been this high. We didn't have interest rates at 4 to 5% back in 2021. Do you guys remember what interest rates were like in 2021? They were at like 0%, like 0.25%, and that gave us the altcoin season that we needed. Okay. And then back in 2017, during the 2017 bull run, interest rates were still lower than where they are right now. I think interest rates were at like 2% or 1%. So I wouldn't really say it's over for altcoin season. You just have to wait until they lower interest rates. That's pretty much where the cheap money is going to come from to send these altcoins higher. And they're thinking about lowering interest rates again in December. They've done it a couple of times, last month in September, and they did it a couple of times last year in September and October of last year. And we had a little bit of an altcoin season in November, December of last year when they were cutting interest rates. It wasn't until they stopped cutting interest rates in January. They just didn't cut interest rates in January, and then that's when altcoins went back down again. So I guess you could just follow the Federal Reserve. Will let you know if you're gonna have an altcoin season or not. Red Hood says quit on top. Yeah, we just don't know where the top is. So far, it looks like the top for Bitcoin was 126K. Let's go back and look at Bitcoin one more time here. But yeah, I mean, did you quit on top? Did you actually sell your Bitcoin and sell your crypto on October 6th? I highly doubt it, but that would have been the top right there. But we don't know if this is, could be a correction. This could be, just a very steep correction before we launch up and go to higher prices. We kind of, the way the markets are acting, the way Bitcoin is acting throughout 2025 is kind of similar to what it was doing in 2024. You guys remember, like, we were kind of like going sideways and going down, and Bitcoin couldn't get above $70,000. Every time it got to like $70,000, it got rejected. So I think $70,000 is for 2024 is what $120,000 is for 2025. And then of course, Donald Trump got elected, and we're on to his inauguration, and that's when we started cashing the bids here on Bitcoin. And then also the Federal Reserve was also lowering interest rates. There weren't any tariffs or anything of that nature, so we were able to go up to higher prices. And I just think, like, it was violent. Do you guys remember what July and beginning of August of 2024 felt like? I know what it felt like, because Bitcoin was at $70,000 at the end of July, and then here in the first week of August, it went to $49,000. And if I measure that out, you could be like, oh, you could have sold at the top, but you didn't, right? But that was like a 30% correction in August of last year. Okay? I don't think we did that. Did we do a 30% correction this time around? Let's see. Measuring, from the top at 126,000 to the bottom here at 98,000. We only had a 20% correction. And last year was a 30% correction before we were able to move up to higher prices, right? So this was a lot more scarier last year than this year. But I get it, I mean, maybe we still got to go down. Maybe we actually have to do a 30% correction. If we did do a 30% correction, how far down would that take us? Ooh. It would take us down to 88K. but a 30% correction is still kind of normal in Bitcoin world. And maybe then we launch up to higher prices from there. All right, we got Jesse in the chat. Good to see you, Jesse, and Chris Klein and Trade Intuition. Shubhamjit says, can I look at SWFTC? I'll try to look at that for you. Let's see. 313 is asking me what kind of indicator am I showing right now? Right now, I don't have any indicators besides the moving averages right now. Sometimes I turn on this other indicator, the VRVP indicator. Off to the right, that's the green and red indicator. The green and red bars to the right here. Gives you your point of control, that blue line, value area low, below you, value area high. This would be the whole value area right here. But yeah, I don't know what indicator you're talking about, to be honest. John Revere is asking me my thoughts on Giggle. Did you mean Google? Or is this another asset called Giggle? Alright. Anyways, let me go ahead and start writing things down here. We gotta look at SWFTC. Giggle coin. Okay. Alright. We'll have to look at Giggle as well. Never heard of that one. Is it a brand new crypto or brand new meme coin? And let me just double check to make sure I went through the requests here. RD was asking about Litecoin, but was that a request for Litecoin? If you're still in the chat, let me know if you want me to take a look at Litecoin. Yeah, so I'm just using like some people call it like the 5 moving average strategy. I only use 4 moving averages. I use the 200-day moving average as the red line, the 100-day moving average as that blue line, the 50-day as that green line, and then the 21 exponential moving average as that white line there. And very helpful, especially in the smaller time frames when I'm day trading. Like if I'm on like the 15-minute time frame, like right now on Bitcoin, I'm not sure if Bitcoin's gonna continue going higher than where it is right now because we're already at the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. I think Bitcoin will probably go sideways unless it's gonna continue being bullish. You know, then yeah, maybe Bitcoin goes up to 105, 106K. But you know, using this 4 moving average strategy that I use, you know, I would be, if I was long in Bitcoin, I would be taking profits right now because the 15-minute time frame shows the 200 moving average. We got above it. I would expect us to either go sideways or maybe come back down, maybe revisit the 100 or the 50 moving average. I like using these moving averages when I'm day trading. All right, let's move on from Bitcoin. We'll take a look at SWFTC here. Was that Swiftcoin? Swiftcoin. I'm looking at Swiftcoin currently trading. What is that? A half a penny? We're just gonna call this 5,133 for now. Let me get into the daily time frame. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh my god, this thing is dropping like a rock. Just zooming out. I have looked at this thing before. You had your best days in February of 2025. This thing was trading at like 5 pennies. This thing has done like almost like a 90% drop. Let me just measure that out real quick. This is what altcoins can do to you guys, especially meme coins as well. It's about an 89% drop from the highs of earlier this year. Yikes. Wow. Okay. Alright. And since then, you've been making lower highs. Since, you know, earlier this year, you're making lower highs. The 200-day moving average acting as resistance. That red line there. But as of now, the 21 EMA is acting as resistance. Every time you get up to the 21 EMA, you get rejected, rejected, rejected. Okay. So, you know, if we're going to try to make a You know, if we're gonna try to make a bounce here, I would expect this thing just get back up to the 21 EMA, sitting at like 6 pennies. I'm sorry, 0.006 whatever. We're just gonna say 6100. When this thing gets up to 6100, I'm expecting to get rejected again, because every time you come up to the white line, you get rejected, 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 rejected. So I'm expecting another rejection only at 6100. But let's just measure out here. You know, if we want to make this a quick day trade, just getting up to that 21 EMA, it's still about a 20% gain. Slap on like 5x leverage, that's a 100% gain. Slap on 10x leverage, that's about a 200% gain. So you can still try to, you know, do a little scalp trade on this thing here. But I would not start to become bullish on this asset until you get above the 21 EMA. Actually come up to that 50-day movement average, okay, at like 86.97. Last time you actually hit the 50-day movement average was back here August 10th. And I guess you could say August 19th, you kind of came close to it. But yeah, you know, if you're in the long and you didn't take profit, or you took partial profit at that 21 EMA, I would definitely take second take profit using that 50-day moving average, because I highly doubt you're going to get past that green line the way this thing's been acting all year long. And if you do, then you might get lucky enough to actually say hello to the 200-day moving average. And that one's sitting at about a penny right now. I would definitely take profit at a penny right now. Because if you do that, I think that's about 100% gain, right? Yeah. 110% gain if you get back up to a penny. I would definitely take profit if you get to that 200-day moving average. But yeah, this is looking like a really great short, to be honest with you. It's been easy enough to short this thing. I would not long it, but I mean, if you're gonna long it, and just know that you're gonna have to take profit. You have to take profit fast. The 21 EMA is gonna probably reject you again. All right, moving on from SWFTC, we'll take a look at Gigglecoin. Gigglecoin on Binance Exchange? Sure. Alright, so this is a brand new coin, trading at $211, up 98% today. And you know what? You guys can listen to other guys that do TA, and some people won't even touch this. They'll be like, oh, this is not enough data. This is not enough data. You know, I can't really do much with this. But I'm going to do better than that for you guys. I can find more data for you. You know, even though this is a brand new coin and it started trading on Binance on October 25th, I can go into the 1 hour chart, and now I start to get some moving averages showing up. So I can use the 1 hour chart here to help figure out where this thing's gonna go next. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna go into 1 hour chart. We're gonna zoom in, and all right, what do we got going on here? On the 1 hour chart, you are clearly bullish. You got above the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, and all the other moving averages. So that's good to see here. Are we topping out? Are we topping out here at 220 bucks? Because that's how high we got about an hour ago. I'm going to have to see what the oscillators are doing. Looking at the RSI indicator here. Yeah, you're overbought on the 1 hour time frame right now. RSI is at 86.4. Okay. Anything above 70 is considered overbought on whatever time frame you're looking at. So you're clearly overbought. This thing, you should be looking for a short. If you're in it right now, you should be taking profit, in my opinion. Because that's what the 1 hour time frame is trying to tell you right now. It's giving you the warning sign like, hey, you should take profit and probably enter a short here. But you just don't know. Is it going to continue being overbought? It can do that. It can do that and still go to higher prices and continue being overbought. Let's look at the MACD. Try to figure things out here. It's like we're doing an investigation here. Should we be longing or shorting this asset? So on the MACD, buying pressure on the 1 hour time frame has obviously increased and it's in the green. And right now, buying pressure is still strong, so I wouldn't really enter a short right now. Okay, until I see a light green candle come in on the 1 hour time frame. Like you've seen, like light green, light green, light green. You know, light green, light green. But here's the problem. You know, you're thinking like, okay, well, light green, light green, light green. And maybe we'll start seeing a red. We'll start seeing a MACD flip here and start seeing some red like we saw back here on Tuesday. But look, buying pressure increased again. And then we got the light green again, and then buying pressure increased again. And let's just take a look at that on the 1 hour time frame here. Yeah, you know, lots of bull flags, bull flags, bull flags, and buying pressure increasing. And what that did here with the MACD is, like, you can see, like, you know, you would have been like, oh, I'm gonna short when it gets to the 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, and I got a little bit of light green, and yeah, your short would have played out a little bit here. But look, this thing caught bids on the 50-day moving average and started going back up again. And then, yeah, you got light green, light green, light green. And this was just the asset, you know, Giggle was just, you know, creating a bull flag here, just flagging out, consolidating. And then that buying pressure increased again, and then you broke out of that bull flag, and then you consolidated again. And then you broke out of that bull flag again one more time, and that's where the buying pressure is increasing here. So, you know, it's a little bit tough to try and short an asset and figure out when to do that. But I would, you know, be looking for light green candles. Right now, you got dark green, dark green. You got the green candle stronger than the green candle and the previous 1 hour candle here. So, you could still ride this if you're riding this to higher prices until you start to see light green. That's when I would start taking profit, and then maybe look for a short when I start seeing light green on the MACD. And I even take a look at the Market Cipher B indicator, but let's see what Market Cipher B is doing here for Giggle. On the 1 hour time frame, you had a green buy dot at 8 a.m. saying that you're still good for like the next few hours here. Also, momentum is increasing, and also money flow is increasing as well. So I would not be looking for a short on Giggle yet. And I think you can still be a little bit greedy enough to ride this to higher prices until you see a red dot. When you see a red dot show up on Market Cipher B on this 1 hour time frame, then I would say, all right, maybe this thing is topping out. Maybe I should take some profit. And then also with this Market Cipher B indicator, there is some emojis here that says like this thing topped out around 4 a.m. and that's when that red dot came in. But then you got the green buy dot once again, that, you know, that's why we're going up to higher prices here. And this is what it looks like on the chart. You know, if I put that indicator here and just show you, like, yeah, you see, like, you had a topping signal here at 4 a.m. But that was just, you know, consolidations, and then you got a green buy dot showing up at 8 a.m. And yeah, you were able to continue pushing us up to higher prices. Now I'm just waiting for another red dot here. But I'm also waiting for Market Cipher B to show that money flow is dying down. I want to see this green start curving down. If I can draw this out, let me see if I can draw this out. I want to see this money flow start going down. And then of course when you get the flip and it starts going into the red, then you know for damn sure you got to get out of your long. You got to take profit, and you got to possibly enter a short if you're interested in shorting this asset here. Let's see. Jesse's in the chat. What is Jesse saying? You seen a fake Market Cipher B? And you sent me the original Market Cipher B. You got it in my DMs on the Discord. All right, Jesse, appreciate that. So you went on Discord and you sent me a message. Let me just check that real quick here. All right, I think I see you there. And guys, if you want to continue, you know, the conversation and looking at these assets here, when I'm not live streaming, you can come on to the Meet Damien Discord server, and this is where we talk about, you know, various assets. I show you when I go live here. I post up my live streams here. Send some funny meme videos here and pictures and whatnot. But this is where we continue the conversation on the assets that we're looking at. So if you want to join the Meet Damien Discord, the link should be in the bio on my TikTok page. Let me see if I go back to TikTok here. Yeah, so there's my Discord link right there for TikTok. Okay. And thank you guys for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. And then for my YouTube guys, the link for the Discord should be in the description to the video. that you're watching right now, and I think it's also in one of the links for my YouTube as well, if you want to join me on Discord. Alright, so back here on Giggle, let's see what Giggle's doing. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that too. Alright. Alright, let me get back in the chat here on TikTok, see what you guys are saying here on TikTok. Shafi, you were asking about Ethereum? Okay, we can take a look at Ethereum. Cameron's in the chat. Cameron is asking, what coin should we invest in? I was looking at LCX earlier. LCX looks like a good long. I'm not sure if it's a long-term trade that you want to get into, but LCX was looking good to me. Let me get into the daily time frame here. If this ends up being a double bottom on LCX, you got a lot of upside. If not, there might be some resistance here at 10 pennies here for LCX, but if we get back up to that 200-day moving average at 13 pennies, that's about a 30% gain from where you are right now. But if this thing actually gets back up to like what it did in August, that's about an 83% gain on LCX. But I'll take that 30% gain, just getting back up to the 200 moving average. And then what else did I see here on LCX? I saw some bullish divergence on LCX. We're making higher lows here on the RSI. So I think LCX might be worth getting into. And then on Market Cipher B, you had a green buy dot showing up, what was it, yesterday? On Wednesday? Wait, no. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. So you have a green buy dot today for LCX. I think it might be worth taking a look at going long for you. You might want to check that one out, Cameron. Vancilla says, what indicator is that? We were looking at Market Cipher B. If you want to add Market Cipher B to your charts here, I use Market Cipher B by Welo Trades on TradingView here. It's a good indicator to use. Alright, so we got to check out Ethereum. Let's go ahead and check out Ethereum. And I think I might be ending the live stream here soon. If you guys have any last minute requests, put them in. But I am I got to bring one of my cars in to the mechanic, get some new brakes put on, some new brake pads. So yeah, I got some things I need to do this afternoon. But yeah, just let me know if you have any last minute requests. Bills fan wants to take a look at Quant. Alright, let me write that down so I don't forget. Quant. Yeah, Jesse, I'll take a look at that Market Cipher B indicator that you sent me. At some point, I should probably pay for the premium one, right? But if you got a free one that's just as good as the premium, then I'll use that one too. But I actually like the one that I'm using right now by Welo Trades. I feel like that one was better than the one I was using even a couple of months ago. Better than that one. But anyways, let's look at the price of Ethereum. Currently trading at $3,441. Up 4.7% today. Catching some bids. I think there was some news. There was a news that what's his name? Tom Lee and his investment company bought like 80,000 Ethereums yesterday, or within the last couple of days. They put that out on the news. So Tom Lee is still bullish on Ethereum, and I think he might have caught whatever correction or bottom this might have been. Ethereum was looking really good, better than Bitcoin and Solana and some of the other high market cryptocurrencies, because it was above the 200-day moving average for the longest time here, and we lost the 200-day moving average on Ethereum yesterday. That 200-day moving average was at 33.71, and Ethereum dropped all the way down to like 3,055. On the Fibonacci, not really anything to look for. We were looking for a 0.236 retracement, where I think a lot of people were targeting to buy Ethereum at $2,700, but looks like we're not doing that today. Ethereum right now is near the highs for the day at 3,455. If Ethereum is able to climb up to higher prices here, we are looking at that 0.5 retracement at 3,500, 3,534. And then also, we're looking at this 100-day moving average, could act as resistance at 37.51. And then also, we have the 0.618, the 0.618 retracement at 38.60. So I think Ethereum, once it gets above 3,500 bucks, it's gonna make its way up to like 3,800 bucks, and we'll just see how it handles itself there. I want to see Ethereum start making higher highs, because like recently we've been making lower highs, lower high, and if we're not able to get above 42.54 like we did here on October 27th, then it's just gonna be another lower high, and then you're gonna have to get out of Ethereum. We'll see how Ethereum handles itself. Like if it gets up to this green moving average, this 50-day moving average at 41.80, and then of course we gotta see it get above 42.50. Then I can start to be really bullish on Ethereum. Right now, Ethereum is looking better than Bitcoin and Solana and XRP at this point, because Ethereum is actually above its 2-day moving average right now. And if Ethereum continues being bullish, then yeah, you want to see it get above that 50-day moving average. 41.80, 41 or 4,200 would even be better. But that's when I would become more bullish here on Ethereum. Let me just look at Bitcoin real quick. You can see Bitcoin is below its 2-day moving average. And then Solana also below its 2-day moving average. XRP below its 2-day moving average. All the big boys are below their 2-day moving average. But Ethereum actually above its 2-day moving average. Actually doing pretty well. Is Ethereum going to lead us to the promised land like it needs to do if we're going to have an altcoin season? We shall see. We shall see. My Discord link is not working. Alright, I'll have to update it. It says that it's expired. Alright, I'll have to put a new link up on TikTok and YouTube. Are you using it on YouTube? I'm assuming, Jesse? Because if it is, then I'll have to update the link on YouTube for sure, if that's the case. Big Chungus says, "Can I pump it?" I wish I could. I don't have enough capital to pump any of these coins. I wish I was at that level. Let's take a look at Quant now. Is Quant a crypto or a stock? I think it should be like the ticker symbol should be QNT, right, for Quant. But Bills fan, are you still in there? Let me know if it's a crypto or a stock. All right, you want me to look at the crypto? Okay, yeah. You gotta be careful because some of these companies, some of these cryptos and some of these companies have like the same name and even the same ticker symbol. So you kind of have to clarify sometimes. By just letting me know. I want to look at Quantum, the crypto, and that's what we're looking at right now. Quant trading at $86.02, up 18% today. Bullish engulfing green candle. That's good to see. Getting above. Are you getting above the highs from like even like last week? Yeah, you are. Well, you did. We have a high here on Monday, October 27th at $87.04. You came up to $88.61, so you're doing the thing. That's good to see here on Quant. However, you still could be in a downtrend. Let me just measure this out here. So this is weird, right? This is like this. I don't know if I want to measure from here to here. That could be a potential. You're still in the downtrend here. And of course, measuring the lows here. So you're kind of in like a descending or falling channel with Quant. What I want to see with Quant is, can you just, go sideways and get out of this downtrend, or maybe continue going up to higher prices from where you are right now? But because you're still in the downtrend and you haven't quite yet broke out of it, I have to be suspect. This thing is still in suspect territory. could we come back down one more time to the bottom of this falling channel here? And if you do, you could see $66 maybe, or 70 bucks all over again here for Quant. We shall see. We shall see. You're not out of the woods yet on Quant, but you are doing what you need to do to try to get out of this descending channel here, this downtrend. If you're able to get up out of this downtrend, I want to see you get up to that 2-day moving average at $100.53, and then I can start being bullish on this thing. But because you're below it, I have to be bearishly biased. I have to be, my bias is to the bearish. All right. The bears are making a convincing case that this thing is going to go down. The bulls are trying to refute that. You know, you guys are in court right now, fighting the case right now. But the bears, I mean, it's still going to be a bearish case if we drop down lower than where we are right now. I want to see, can Quant hold where we're at and then go higher? And then, of course, once you get up to that 2-day moving average, I am now a full believer. Case dismissed. You can be bullish again on Quant. All right. Thank you, 333 Saint, for sharing the live stream here. Appreciate that. And thank you, Piplup, for following me here on TikTok. And we have a request here for ICP. All right, let's go take a look at ICP now. And I think this might be the last request that I'll do here, guys. Because I have to, like I said, bring one of my cars to the mechanic, get some new brake pads put on it. Let's see. ICP currently trading at $5.21. Up 0.6% today. And you got above the 2-day moving average. You did that yesterday here for ICP. I know ICP has been making some news, some headline news over the last few days because it's been going up while the market was going down. ICP currently trading at 522. It did get as high as like 662 yesterday. That was nice to see. It wasn't really. I was trying to see if that was that a fib level. Let me see if I can put the 1272 in there. Did we hit the 1272? Ooh, look at that! Just like magic. We hit the 1272 fib extension level on ICP. To the penny. $6.62. Got rejected off of that 1272. And now, where are we hanging out at? We're hanging out like at the 786 retracement now. Okay, so this thing is still being pretty damn bullish, in my opinion. And I'm loving the fact that you're above the 2-day moving average, okay? You actually did, you came a little bit lower today. You actually got down as low as 470, 471, which was a retracement down to the 618 golden pocket here. So you already done the thing here. You're still remaining relatively bullish by being at the 0.786. Can we get back up to 580? Let's see. I measured. Why did I measure 580? I think I measured 580. That's a good question, actually. Trying to figure out how I came to these numbers here. And I have a Fibonacci down here at the number started was 278. Alright, okay, so I think what I did was I was just measuring what this thing was doing yesterday, okay? So I measured 278 because that was like the low here on Thursday of last week, and then I think maybe like yesterday we were trading at like 580, and I drew the Fibonacci on that, not knowing that this thing was going to go up to the 1272, and it did that as well probably after I measured it out. Let me go into the 1 hour time frame. I bet you that's how I came up to these numbers here. Where is my Fibonacci? Where did you go? Alright, maybe try the 4 hour maybe. Yeah, okay. Let me try to drag this over. Keep it at 278. Alright, so yeah. So I think this is what I was looking at yesterday. And we got up here to like 5... Yeah, almost like $6 actually. But anyways, this, for some reason, this thing played out like a charm with the Fibonacci here. And I was measuring like 584 to 280, and we hit the 1272. So Fibonacci, pretty useful, figuring out where the targets might be. And I guess, you know, to the downside, you know, we'll see if this thing comes back down to 460, 470 again. I think we're just gonna probably flag out here on ICP until we're able to get back up to 580 again, and then we'll see how it handles itself going to higher prices. Ari Birdstein wants to take a look at the price of gold. All right, I'll take a look at the price of gold, and I think that's gonna be the last one for today. No more requests. If you guys have any more requests, you got to like go onto the Meet Damien Discord server here and put in your requests, and I'll try to analyze the coin on the Meet Damien Discord here. All right, let me just say hi to some people here. Thank you guys for coming in. But yeah, that's what we'll plan on doing here. Gold. Looking at the price of gold. Gold is trading at 3,979. Let's go into the daily time frame, see what gold is doing here on the daily time frame. Let's see. You bottom out, or you had a correction that took you down to like 38.86. Did I do Fibonacci on this one? I'm pretty sure I did, but I might have to do a new Fibonacci. Yeah, we already hit those targets there. All right, so I'm going to measure from swing high to swing low. We're going to do a Fibonacci on this one. Did gold come down to the 0.5 retracement? Almost. You kind of did. Got front ran a little bit. And now you're hanging out near the 618 golden pocket on gold. Okay. And then is gold going to be able to catch more bids and get up to the 786 retracement at 41.55? That would be my next target to the upside for gold. Let's look at the oscillators here real quick. Gold was overbought towards most of October here. Yeah, kind of like a double top here on the RSI, and that's what sent us down to lower levels here, or you could say that was one of the reasons that sent us down to lower levels here. And gold is no longer overbought like it was in the beginning of October. Your RSI is at 49.70, so you have room to go to higher prices if you want to on gold and not be overbought. Oscillator MACD showing selling pressure was pretty steep towards the end of October, going into the beginning of November. But you are getting some light pink candles here. Selling pressure is dying down on gold, so maybe gold might be bottoming out or correcting. This might be the lows, the higher low that we're looking for gold. And then here on Market Cipher B, yeah, of course, you know, gold was topping out back in October, and you had like 1, 2, 3, 4, a quadruple top. Or you had some signals here saying that you should get out of gold. These are good prices to get out. And you were above the overbought horizontal bars here. So yeah, gold topped out. Money flow came down. The momentum wave came down as well. Money flow came down and in the red. And I guess the safer bet, I mean, you could try to buy gold and put a stop loss, you know, as tight as you need it to be. But your confirmation would be, is this money flow going to start curving back up again? And are you going to get a green buy dot? Because you have a red sell dot. The next dot should be a green buy dot on the daily time frame. When you get that green buy dot, you'll know for damn sure, like, you know, at least the next couple of days or a few days should be good for gold to go to higher prices. But you haven't had that green buy dot show up yet. It could happen today, could happen tomorrow. We'll see. You're on the lookout for that. When you get that signal, might be a good time to buy gold and try to ride it up to higher prices here. So right now, if I was to like do that, right, let's just game plan this out. If we were to buy right now, I put the stop loss below the candlewick low here on Tuesday of last week. You're only risking about 2.5% on your gold position here. and you're trying to get up to that 786 as the next target, it's only a risk-reward ratio of 1.7. I'm not sure if that's good enough. It's about a 4.2% gain, but a 2.48% loss if you get stopped out. I'd probably be looking for higher prices. I'd probably be looking to see if I could push this up to $4,300, like we saw gold do back in the end of October here. Now you got a risk-reward ratio of 4. And a 9.9% gain, almost 10%, for a 2.48% stop loss. That's a worthwhile trade right there. If you're gonna stick around and see if gold's gonna get back up to its all-time highs again, this could be a worthwhile trade for a long here. Just say you want to be a mod? I can make you a mod. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make you a mod. But I need to see you show up on the live stream. I haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you now, but you know, I'm gonna need to see you here to help me moderate, you know, some of the people that might be saying some bad things or disrupting the chat here. So if that's what you want to do, then I'll definitely make you a mod, and I appreciate you helping me. I know you're on a bunch of other live streams as well, so I know you're almost on YouTube almost every day. So yeah, I'll make you a mod, and we can make sure that people are behaving themselves over here in the chat. All right, Ari Bernstein, you're asking, should you long or short gold? I would try to go for a long. Yeah, gold is bullish. You're still above the 200-day, 100, and the 50-day moving average. But I understand, it's like, do you long or short? Especially when it's going sideways, you just don't know. But I think you could try to long this to try to go back up to all-time highs again. I would be paying attention to the macro picture, though. You know, if the U.S. government opens up again, that might take away some of the fear in the markets, and that's not going to help gold. And if the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates again, it takes away, you know, the use case for gold, because gold, you know, it doesn't earn interest. It only goes up if someone wants to buy your gold at a higher price, kind of like similar to Bitcoin. But if the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates, then people might put their money to work in the stock market and like buy dividend paying stocks. And if your stock is paying dividends, then why would you be in gold? All right, so I'd be on the lookout for that. If you see them lower interest rates again and the government open up, then maybe it might be better to just enter a short on gold. And if gold does go to lower prices, we're looking at the 50-day moving average should act as support at $3,600, and that's confluent with this 0.236 retracement at like 35.66. So maybe gold does come down to lower prices. But you just don't know. I mean, every day you got to figure out, do I long or do I short? And right now, the case for gold is it should go up to higher prices because you're already in a bullish. You're in a bullish pattern here. You're in an uptrend. You're above all the moving averages except for the 21 EMA. If gold gets above the 21 EMA at 4,080, then it's considered extremely bullish at that point. And I already looked at the oscillators here for gold. You know, if you start seeing money flow curving up here, then I would enter a long. And if you see that green buy dot show up, I would enter a long. If we see money flow curving down, then I would probably enter the short. Because maybe this thing needs to go down further. And you can make some money on the way down if you're shorting it. But guys, that's going to be it for this live stream. I appreciate you guys coming into the live stream and liking and commenting, subscribing and following. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and follow me and subscribe on YouTube here. Appreciate that. We got 12 people here on YouTube, but guess what? We got 31 people here on TikTok and 2,300 likes. Let's see if we can get up to like 2,500 or 3,000 likes here before I end the live stream. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. Go ahead and come find me here on Discord if you want to continue the conversation and put in a request for one of your coins here. Okay? Meet Damien Discord link should be in the bio for my TikTok here. Okay, you can just click that link, and then I'm gonna have to fix the link here on YouTube. And yeah, I'll look forward to seeing you guys here showing up here on the Discord. All right. But for now, that's gonna be it, guys. I will see you tomorrow. We'll try to do the same time, 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. Take care, guys. Alright, Jesse, I just made you a moderator just now. You're now a moderator on YouTube. Congratulations.